Hello, everyone. In today's science lesson, we will begin a new chapter, What Makes Up the Earth. So open up your textbook to page 86. Chapter 6, What Makes Up the Earth. By flipping through the pages of Chapter 6, what are the things that you see? What do you think we'll be learning about? Well, I can see this island, volcano, the world map, something inside the Earth, layers of the Earth. So maybe we will be learning about outside and the inside of the earth. It also says in our title that this chapter will be about what makes up the earth. Then how can learning about the earth help us live safely? Keep this question in your mind as we read this chapter. Let's begin reading. You have been learning that each living thing needs a place to live. Living things live in places all over the earth. On the first day of creation, God created the earth. He covered it with water. Then God caused dry land to appear. He made the earth with both land and seas. Sadly, because of sin, sometimes the earth is dangerous. Learning about the land and the sea can help us live safely and keep others safe. Going back to the question above, why should we learn about the earth? Well, because of sin, sometimes the earth is dangerous. Then what events on earth might be harmful or dangerous? As we can see in this picture, it can be because of volcanoes, maybe floods, storms, and earthquakes. And that's why learning about the land and sea can help us find a way to live safely and also keep others safe. Then why is it important to keep other people safe? That's because people are important since we are made in God's image. Next page. On page 89, we see a world map of oceans and continents. The blue color on this map represents water or oceans, and the green represents land or continents. Is there more blue or more green on this map? You can see more blue. So by looking at this map, we can see that there are more water than land on the surface of the earth. It also shows in this graph that there's about 70% of water and about 30% of land on the Earth's surface. So this flat map shows a picture of this Earth. Then what's the model that is round and helps us study the Earth? It is a globe. Very good. So the globe is round like a ball, and because it is round, we can see how the Earth moves. But this is not how the real Earth looks like. This is just a model. Unlike the real Earth, a globe is smaller than the Earth. It sometimes has words on it, lines, and colors that are not on the Earth. When we open it up and flatten out this globe, it will look something like this. Or the map on our book, page 89. Let's begin reading. The surface of the Earth. Water. Most of the Earth is covered with water. Look at the graph and map. You can see that about 3/4 of the Earth is water. The large bodies of salt water are called oceans. There are 4 main oceans on the Earth. They are the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean. Some of the smaller bodies of the salt water are called seas and gulfs. Many living things find their home in salt water. Whales, shrimp, and seaweed are some of the things that live in salt water. Fresh water is found in rain and on land. Bodies of fresh water include lakes, ponds, rivers, and streams. People depend on sources of clean fresh water to drink. Plants and animals living on land also need clean fresh water. So what are the large areas of water? They are oceans. What kind of water do they have? They have salt water. And the book tells us that there are 4 main oceans. What are they? They are the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, and the Arctic. But we actually learned one more ocean. Do you remember what that is? It's the Southern Ocean. The Southern Ocean is a name for the waters that surround all of the Antarctica at the southern end of the Earth. And these salt water is home to many sea creatures such as whales, shrimps, and seaweed. Then does the Earth only have salt water? Nope. We also have fresh water like lakes, ponds, rivers, and streams. And where are they found? Fresh water is found in rain and on land. Why are they important? Because people, plants, and animals on land need it to live. Let's continue reading. Water is not the only thing that covers the Earth's surface. There is also land. The large areas of land are called continents. There are 7 continents: the Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. Some continents are connected. Others are not. Australia is an island, an area of land completely surrounded by water. Antarctica is not connected to other areas of land either. It is covered with ice and snow. All of the land does not look the same. Some landforms you might see are mountains, canyons, and plains. Some places are covered with grass or trees. Other places are mostly rock or sand. Each place is home to animals and plants and often people. So what are the large areas of land on this map? They are continents. We've learned them before. Can you name them all? The list goes Asia, Africa, North and South America, Antarctica and Europe, and finally Australia. Do you guys remember that song? Let's take a closer look at this map. Are all these continents separated? Some of these continents are connected and some are alone, completely surrounded by water. What do we call an area of land completely surrounded by water? An island. Do you see a continent that's also an island? The answer is Australia. Antarctica is also not connected to areas of land either. It is covered with ice and snow. To study the Earth, scientists sometimes divide the Earth into halves called hemispheres. They are not really cutting the Earth into halves, but they are making an imaginary division to help them study and name things about the Earth. And this imaginary line is called prime meridian. So the Earth can be divided into halves called the hemispheres. What is this side? It's the west. So we call this Western Hemisphere. So that means this side is the Eastern Hemisphere. We can also divide the Earth from top to bottom. We've learned about this imaginary line called the equator. If we follow this imaginary line and divide the Earth into halves, it will look like this. What do we call this side of the map? North. So it is the Northern Hemisphere. Then what about this side of the Earth? This is the South, so the Southern Hemisphere. Looking at it as a globe, if we split up the globe following this green line, the prime meridian, also called the Greenwich Meridian line, it would look like this. Western and Eastern Hemisphere. But if we divide the globe through the equator, it will be divided into Northern and Southern Hemisphere. Then what continent can you see in both of the Southern and the Western Hemisphere? So Southern and Western, so it will be here. And we can see the South America and the part of Antarctica. Then what continents can you see in both the Eastern and Northern Hemisphere? So east side, but the north of the east, and we see Europe, part of Africa, and Asia. Then which hemispheres can you find North America? North America is in both the northern and the western hemispheres. For your homework, you're going to complete Science Work Text, page 76. For the first part, you're going to read and complete each sentence by using the words in the word bank to fill in the blank. And you should go back to the science pages that we read today to find the answer. For the second part, you're going to match the words with the correct picture. You're also going to complete this map by cutting the continents and the ocean names and then gluing them into the correct places on this map. You can also color or draw small animals on the map. And don't forget to label all the names of the continents as well. We will review all the answers for these worksheets during our Zoom meeting this Friday. Well, that's it. Bye, everyone.